Okay, so this film, it caught me off guard. Wasn't wasn't expecting wasn't expecting this at all. It is called um I may be wrong in the pronunciation. Viscera, right? It is directed by David H. Venghaus Jr., written by Zach Canon. The film is produced by Hannah Cannon, Karen Ann Clancy, Sean O. McGuinness, and Canan Sanders. It's executive produced by Nick Moon and Zach Cannon. Tio Bamu took care of the music. Megan Stacy is on cinematography. David Hooper edits the piece. Francis Lynn Labar was production design. Set decoration, we have Laura Del Mar. Lindsay Newton was costume design. Uh, yeah, and our cast. Okay, so Coline is played by Molly B. Thomas, and Young, her husband, is played by Zach Cannon. All right, we've got Bradley Macerilio as a mysterious man. The voice of the therapist is Carrie Lloyd, and the two helpers in the therapy surgery room office are played by Cananan Sanders, and Hannah Cannon. Okay, so the gist of the film is this: stuck in a cycle from infidelity, Coline and Young seek out an experimental therapist for solutions. When the therapist's method border on inhumane, they must find common ground to avoid permanent damage. Yeah, I mean, that's an it's an interesting one, right? Because what you kind of see is, yeah, two people trying to navigate a situation. And it's one of those ones where it's definitely, oh, it's not the best, but it possibly it's needed, right? And I say needed because they're both avoiding things, right? That's clear. Now we open up and they're in this, therapy office room, right? They're sitting down. They're all in white. They're getting these, head things put on, and the therapy is like, "Yeah, this, you entrust me to this session," and they got these armbands, and they're like, "Yo, you can't leave until you've done every segment of this thing, right?" And if they stray or they get zapped by this kind of watch arm bracelet type thing, right? And yeah, so they're in this room. Now they're transported, and the room's in color, right? So now they're transported, and they're on like the porch of this house, and it's black and white, which is it's interesting, right? And it's frosty, right? And this is the thing, right? It seems that they look, obviously they both thought therapy would be an idea, but it's kind of when we first, they don't seem to necessarily want to embrace it, right? As I say, it's frosty, very frosty, right? Little digs at each other, all of that kind of thing, which, I think those things make sense, right? Because you're meant to open up with someone that you do not know, right? So it's just like, wait, how am I gonna, you know what I mean, talk about these raw, intimate moments with someone I don't know? You know what I mean? So, yeah, so you understand why it might be this weird kind of vibe, right, at first. But then it's these little things, right? Like, she looks to get up, and the armlet's like, nope. Because it kind of, you get probably the sense that she will walk away from a situation, right? If she doesn't want to talk about it, or, you know what I mean, address it, she'll probably walk, leave the room, do something else. And then, he makes these little comments, but it's just like, I don't know where that came from. Where it's like you kind of do know where it comes from. You know what I mean? It's a shit little comment, but so you know that this thing has happened. Now, it's just over 20 minutes. Now, over the case, it's interesting because we find out, well, we don't actually find out what happened between the two. But what we do seem to find out that it's not necessarily what we think it is. That's why I kind of think the synopsis it feels a little off, right? But we find out this thing. We get this sense of this thing, which is interesting. It's very interesting, but it does throw out these things, right? Like, what did she call it? Like phantom visions, I think it was, or phantom emotions, something like that. But it's just like, yeah, no, that's the thing. It's one of them when people be like, but you made me feel this way. But it's just like, yo, but I didn't do that thing that you're kind of talking. But it's I know, but I feel like you did. And it's just like, well, what the fuck am I meant to do with that, right? What's happening here? But so we get all of this, and it's very tense, right? It's very interesting. We do get this use of color and black and white, right? We jump in between the two, which again, it is interesting when you're dealing with emotions, right? When you're meant to be in this kind of sterile environment, remove the color and then bring it back. You know what I mean? There's something about that. There's something that makes it hit. You know what I mean? So we have all of this stuff. Like, the therapy has these, that whole technique, right? So the floor lights up and they have to step into this circle. And for a certain period of time, whichever the therapist dictates, they stand there and you have to have eye contact, which is actually an actual thing, right? They'd be like, yo, if you stare into someone's eyes for a short period of time, it creates a connection between you. It can strengthen that connection. It can reawaken that connection, right? It's all about connectivity. And it is an actual therapy technique, So, it's all different things like this. But we're going through and there's all these different emotions. And they both, right? Both Molly and Zach do a superb job of giving us this kind of tension, giving us these fleeting looks, right? These like emotional, what should we call it? It's like these plateaus of indifference. You know what I mean? And they really just do nail these different things, right? These hesitations, that we see in the bathroom, like in bed, these just different things, right? It really reminded me of, well, aesthetically, it reminded me of the Apple TV series Severance, with Adam Scott. Like, it reminded me of that, right? But it also really did remind me of Malcolm and Marie. Right? It's a Netflix film starring John David Washington and Zendaya. It came out during the pandemic. I think yeah, 2021, right? It's really good. It's in black and white, and it's just this couple. They've back from this an award ceremony, I believe it was, and they get into this argument, and it's like this just this flowing conversation, right? And yeah, it's kind of got that themic kind of connection with Viscera. I kind of thought it's the thing that instantly jumped into mind when watching it. You know what I mean? Like, this is because you think about relationships, you think about the communication within that relationship, right? The things that can cause road bumps, and I think that this film does a good job of it. And the end, there's the end hits on that key thing. That key thing of when something has happened, there is a change, right? There is a change. And it's like, that's what they're just getting into, and then it ends. So, but I like that, because you don't know if they fix everything or what happens, but it's like we're at the start of a new journey, and I think that is very poignant. That's very poignant. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, this was good, man. This was very, very good. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. Although it is, as I say, it's not like, it's not happy. It's not happy sci-fi, people, but it's thought-provoking. And a lot of these shorts this year are friggin' thought-provoking on this different level. When you think of stuff like Dandelion, Memoria, A Positive Contribution, like, oh my God, my mind just went blank. Oh, The Burden. I don't even know what's going on with me, man. But The Burden, right? All of these films just are making you think. And I dig it. I dig it. So you can see Viscera, right, as part of this year's Sci-Fi London, which takes place from the 14th of September to the 22nd. Right? An online pass is £10. £10, and you get to watch so many shorts. That is a bargain. I don't think you can go to any festival, pay £10 and watch this many films. People, you need to do it. You need to do it. All right. So yeah, definitely give this one a go, because y'all gonna be thinking, right? Maybe don't watch it with your partner if you've just had an argument, right? Or you ain't been talking to each other for a few days and you think, all right, let's go watch a film. This might not be the film to try and turn things around, right? Because you're going to be talking a lot afterwards. But it's a good one. It's a good one. People, Viscera.